Hi, and welcome to this brief tutorial on how to use the Read and Write Chrome extension from TextHelp. So as you can see, I have a Google Docs file open, but you can have a blank file open or a web page open in order to access the toolbar. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I have a doc file open. So in order to enable the Chrome extension, simply go up to the Read and Write for Chrome extension. It's this little purple icon, and simply click on it, and the toolbar will appear. Now, the default or the very first icon is the Check It tool. The Check It tool is nothing more than a spell checker. So as you can see, my document has a few errors. And I know that because they are underlined in purple. So just like any spell checker, if I click on the word, it will give me possible choices to replace the misspelled word with a correct spelling. So I'm going to click on Empire, and it is replaced. Now it doesn't know Mead, so it's not even a choice. And I also have a spacing issue right here that I can correct, and a punctuation issue because I had two periods there. So, and they were underlined. So that's it. That is nothing more than spell check that you would find in Microsoft Word. But it is a tool embedded within this particular toolbar. Now, another feature that's available is prediction. I'm going to click on that. It's this little icon right here that looks like a little crystal ball. You can see I have a little box down here. And in this text box is going to be my various choices as I begin to type. So I'm going to put in Cyrus because I know it's not going to predict that because it's not a commonly used word. It will auto learn your vocabulary, but it takes time. So for this demonstration, I knew it wasn't going to appear. So I'm just going to start right from here. So Cyrus. Now I'm looking for the word continued. Okay, now I do see it. It may be out of your viewing area of the screen. So I'm just simply, it's number 5. So I'm simply going to click on it. Cyrus continued, and now it has 2. I actually want that word, but I didn't type anything. So it has a predict ahead feature. So I'm going to click on the word. So I'm going to start typing because I think you understand how word prediction works. It's very similar to what's available on your mobile devices or phone. So it's either a feature that your students will love or they will not. It really depends upon their need. So if they struggle with keyboarding, they may find that it will speed up their ability to type words because it limits the number of keystrokes. For some students, it disrupts the fluency of the writing process because they are looking for the word in the box. They forget the sentence that they were trying to type. So it's very individualized and who will benefit from this feature and who will not. So, and really it's going to be trial and error for your students. So let me finish this sentence. So Cyrus continued to conquer and expand his empire. Okay. Now, once I put in punctuation with text to speech, it will read the entire sentence back to me. Again, for some students, having that is a great feature because they can hear their sentence right away and make any necessary corrections. But for some students, it could be too much auditory feedback. So that's something that can be adjusted within settings, and I will demonstrate that at the end of this video. So that's word prediction. Now, another feature that's very popular for students is speech to text. So with speech to text, I'm going to click on the prediction so that it's no longer underlined, so it's no longer active or enabled, and notice that my text box is gone. Now I'm going to click on the talk and type. Now, talk and type is actually using the voice typing feature embedded in Google Docs. So once I click on it, you're going to see over here a little microphone, and it's going to be red. And once it's red, it's going to start typing anything that it hears. So it's going to translate. So once I click on it, I'm going to say my sentence, add my punctuation, and then I will stop it. So let me demonstrate that. Cyrus ruled for 30 years, period. And that's it. And this is a wonderful feature for students who maybe struggle with writing, with spelling. It's also a great tool for your students who are maybe apprehensive in writing. They might be the ones who can tell you everything orally, but when it comes to either writing it or typing it, they really struggle. So if they're great at orally expressing to you their understanding of the content, this is a way for them to get that content onto the screen so that they can start editing something and they don't have that writer's block. So something to think about, but it's a really great tool. But keep in mind, as soon as you click on it, it will start to translate any spoken word that it hears. So keep that in mind before you click on that. Also, if there's a lot of background noise, that has to be taken into consideration, and how close the student sits next to the microphone. Or if they have one that's a part of their headset. So there's a lot of those things that need to be taken into consideration. So this is something that is going to be trial and error, but it's something that you as an educator should encourage because students would really benefit from using this feature. So I'm going to simply click off of this. And now let me show you some of the highlighters. So I'm going to highlight some words here. I'm going to use yellow. Let me highlight a couple of other words because there's a lot of great here. Benevolent is not a commonly used word, so I'm going to highlight that one. Depending upon what color you would want your students to use, based on, the lesson, maybe you want all of your, proper nouns in one color, dates in another, maybe it's going to be adjectives in one color and verbs in another. That's for you to decide and to provide that instruction to your students when you're using this collectively in a group. That's definitely very useful for your students to know, so they're just not randomly using highlighters and highlighting the entire document. So providing some guidance is really necessary in order to really understand how to use a highlighter tool. So with that, I have a few words highlighted, and this tool is so neat. It's vocabulary, right? So you think, well, so great about that. Well, let me show you. All of the words that I just highlighted in the document, it is going to generate a list in another file of vocabulary with the definition. So here, benevolent, the meaning. So here's the definition, conquered, the definition. And it would help if I actually had the L under professional. So I better check my highlighting skills. But great feature. Another tool that is great is collecting all of the words that are highlighted. So if I click on this feature, I can tell it what I want. I can sort it by color, by position. I'm going to do it by color. I don't have magenta, but I have these other 3 colors. And I'm simply going to click, and it's going to open another file, and it's going to extract those words and put it into a different file altogether. So this is really great, especially if you're using a website where the vocabulary is more robust and you want to be able to extract sentences, maybe a paragraph or 2 into a document in and of itself. You can do that by using these highlighting tools. So it's a very powerful tool when used appropriately. So I want to erase all of those highlights. So I'm just simply going to highlight the content, and right here, I'm going to clear the highlights, and now they are gone. Now, one other tool that I want to demonstrate is the dictionary. So I showed you that you can create a separate vocabulary list, but you can also use the dictionary on the spot by simply clicking on this tool, and it will give you the definition. So if you just needed it, or your students just needed it while they're reading the content, such as here, I'm benevolent, they don't know what that word is, simply highlight it and it will give the definition. So you don't have to highlight it and have it extracted into a vocabulary list in order to get that definition. You can just simply use the dictionary that's already embedded. Now, I mentioned before that there are ways to alter and change the way some of these features either predict vocabulary or read back to a student. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you right now. So if you go right over here to the 3 little dots, you can go into options. And here under speech, we can either speed up the speech or we can slow it down. And I'm going to put it at 45. And right now it's speak on each sentence, but you can also have it do speak at each word, for which is a lot of auditory feedback. I don't know too many students who really like having every single word read to them aloud, but it's something that you can do. And then you can also select a different voice if you'd like. Under prediction, you can either predict ahead or not have that feature. You can also have it follow the cursor or not. And you can also have a maximum of 10 choices within word prediction, which is a lot. 5 seems reasonable, but you can also limit that. Now that you know how to make some changes under options, I'm going to end with the ability of using the text-to-speech tool. So now that I have this document here, I can actually have it read back to my students. So if I click here and click on the play button, and again, let me demonstrate that, that playback feature in text-to-speech. So I'm going to simply put the cursor where I want it to begin reading. I'm going to simply click on play, and it's going to read it aloud and highlight the word as it's being read. Now I can go down to the next one, and I know that you're probably not hearing it because with the screencast it's capturing what I'm saying and not what is being read back through the speakers with the playback feature. But if I click on play again, I can stop it or I can pause it. So it works just like a CD player or a DVD player with the play, pause, and stop feature. Now, if it's reading back and it's reading too quickly, remember, simply go over here into your More option, those three little dots, go into Options, go to Speech, and you can slow down that speech or you can speed it up if needed. So just keep that in mind. In another video tutorial, I'm going to go over, the screen masking language and other various features that are embedded. So this is going to get you and your students up and running and using the Read and Write Chrome extension. Make it a great one.